Welcome back for another deep dive with us. Today, we're going exploring a Reddit thread that really caught my eye.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's about this 41-year-old guy
Okay.
who got unexpectedly dumped after 5 years together.
Wow.
Yeah, and he goes to the Our Guy Cry subreddit for support.
Ah, interesting.
And so we're going to kind of dig through all that and see
Yeah.
what kind of advice he gets from all the commenters.
I love that. It's fascinating how these online communities kind of become sounding boards
Right.
for like all these really personal experiences. I
Yeah.
think it speaks to our shared human need to connect with other people
Yeah.
and get guidance, especially when we're going through tough times.
Well, especially, I thought this one was so interesting because he's like doing well in life.
Okay.
Like he's got a good job. He's going to the gym.
Yeah.
He even lost 20 pounds, he said.
Oh, wow.
But he's still just like reeling from this breakup.
Yeah.
It's like he's got all the external stuff figured out,
Right.
but internally he's just lost.
Well, that's a really common thing, actually.
Is it?
Yeah, we often kind of associate success with all of those external markers, like what we're doing, what we're
Yeah.
achieving.
Right.
But, true well-being comes from a deeper alignment with our values and our passions and our purpose.
Yeah.
And that's actually where I think the advice in this Reddit thread gets really interesting.
Because the most frequent advice that he gets is to focus on himself.
Yes,
But it's not like the treat yourself kind of
exactly.
focus on
Yeah,
yourself.
it's not the superficial kind of self-care.
Yeah.
It's much deeper than that.
Right.
It's about really reclaiming your sense of self, like independent of your relationship status.
Yeah.
And for somebody in their 40s, like the OP,
Yeah.
this can be particularly challenging.
Oh, how so?
Well, because, they might be at that point in their life where they're facing all of those societal expectations
Right.
about settling down and maybe having a family.
Yeah.
And that just adds like another layer of pressure to an already difficult situation.
And some of the commenters were even saying, oh, yeah.
Like, dude, if you don't have any hobbies or passions outside of work and the gym, no wonder you're feeling lost.
Yeah. There's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah.
Although it might sting a little bit to hear it sometimes.
Yeah.
Hobbies and passions aren't just distractions.
Right.
They're expressions of who we are at our core.
Yeah.
They give us a sense of purpose and accomplishment and joy.
Yeah.
And all of those things are essential for our well-being.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I guess for our listeners out there, like, what are your passions?
Yeah.
What have you always wanted to try but maybe haven't made the time for?
Yeah.
Like maybe this deep dive is a sign to dust off that old guitar or finally sign up for that pottery class.
Totally. It's never too late to reconnect with those things that really spark joy in our lives.
Right.
And bring meaning.
Okay. So focus on yourself is a big theme.
Yeah.
But another piece of advice that pops up is no contact.
Oh, yeah. That's a classic.
And not just like avoiding calls and texts.
Yeah. But like completely severing ties, including social media.
That's classic breakup advice, and for a good reason.
Why is that?
Because when you're constantly bombarded with all of those reminders of your ex,
Yeah.
it's like picking at a scab.
Oh, right.
It prevents the wound from healing properly.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
And in this case, the OP mentions that they actually work at the same factory,
Oh, geez.
which just adds another layer of complexity.
He even said it's been a rocky road trying to maintain no contact at work.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah.
It's really hard to move on when you're constantly encountering your ex in your day-to-day life.
Yeah.
But I think it just underscores the importance of creating as much distance as possible,
Yeah.
both physically and emotionally, to allow yourself to truly heal.
And speaking of physical distance, there's a whole thread dedicated to urging him to get his belongings back from his ex's place.
Okay.
Like his tools and clothes, like the whole shebang.
It might seem like a minor detail, but there's actually a powerful psychological element to reclaiming your physical space. It really symbolizes a break from the past,
Yeah.
and it reinforces the decision to move on.
And some of the comments are pretty hilarious. Like one guy even said,
What'd he say?
go get your stuff, King, before she throws it out with the trash.
It's a tough love approach, but, they have a point.
Yeah.
Establishing boundaries, both physically and emotionally, is a crucial step in the healing process.
It is.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting how those comments about getting his stuff back,
Yeah.
really tie into this broader theme in the advice.
Yeah.
Like this idea of taking action.
Yeah.
Like it's not enough to just sit around and mope,
Right.
Taking these concrete steps, even small ones,
Yeah.
can really help you regain a sense of agency and control,
Yeah.
which is incredibly empowering after a breakup.
I like that. Yeah, it's like you're taking your power back one box of belongings at a time.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be this grand gesture.
Right.
It could be as simple as, making your bed in the morning,
Right.
cooking a healthy meal, or even just going for a walk, you
Yeah.
know? These small actions can have this ripple effect
Yeah.
on your mindset and your well-being.
And it brings us back to that focusing on yourself thing,
Exactly.
which we said goes way beyond the bubble bath
Yeah.
and face masks.
It's about really investing in your personal growth
Yeah.
and using this experience as a catalyst for some positive change.
Okay.
Maybe this breakup is an opportunity to reevaluate your priorities,
Okay.
explore new possibilities, and
Yeah.
ultimately become a stronger and more resilient version of yourself.
One commenter even said, this is your chance to write a new chapter in your story. What will it be about?
I love that.
Yeah.
It's a great way to frame it,
Yeah.
It really invites us to take ownership of our own narratives
Yeah.
and envision a future that's even brighter than the past.
I like that. And speaking of writing a new chapter,
Mm-hmm.
there were so many suggestions in this thread of like activities and hobbies.
Oh, yeah.
He could explore like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to painting to volunteering.
It's like they created this giant toolbox for
Yeah.
dealing with heartbreak.
Yes.
And everybody's encouraged to find what works best for them.
What works for them? Yeah.
What I find fascinating is how this really reflects the understanding that there's no one-size-fits-all solution to heartbreak.
Totally.
What works for one person may not work for another.
Absolutely. And even if you're not going through a breakup right now,
Yeah.
I feel like this is a good reminder to just never stop growing and evolving.
Absolutely. And I think it's worth highlighting that, engaging in these activities isn't just about distraction.
Yeah.
It's also about restoring a sense of routine and structure.
Right. Because when your world feels like it's been turned upside down,
Yeah.
having those familiar anchors like a regular gym routine or weekly art class can give you a sense of stability
Oh.
and normalcy.
And there's another aspect of these activities that I think is often overlooked.
What's that?
It's that sense of accomplishment
Oh, yeah.
that comes with learning something new
Yeah.
or mastering a skill. It's like you're proving to yourself that you're capable of growth and progress,
Okay.
even amidst difficult circumstances.
Yes. And that sense of accomplishment can be a really powerful antidote to those feelings of inadequacy
Yeah.
or self-doubt
Yeah.
that often accompany heartbreak.
Now, amidst all the practical advice about the hobbies and no contact,
Right.
there's another recurring theme that I found really poignant.
Oh, yeah. What are that?
It's this acknowledgement that time is the ultimate healer.
It's the truth that's both comforting and frustrating at the same time, isn't it?
It is.
In the midst of heartbreak, it can feel like time is moving so slowly.
Yes.
But as they say, time heals all wounds.
Although one commenter said time doesn't necessarily heal all wounds, but it gives you the space to grow around them.
Oh, I love that.
It suggests that healing isn't necessarily about erasing the past,
Right.
but it's more about integrating it
Yeah.
into our present and future.
Right.
The scars may remain,
Yeah.
but they become part of our story.
Yeah.
They become a testament to our resilience and our capacity for growth.
And with time and perspective, those scars can even become sources of strength and wisdom.
Absolutely. They can inform our choices, deepen our empathy,
Yeah.
and make us more appreciative of the good times when they come.
It reminds me of that Japanese art of kintsugi,
Oh, yeah.
where they repair broken pottery with gold
Yes.
and they highlight the cracks instead of hiding them.
What a beautiful analogy.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that our brokenness doesn't diminish our value.
Right,
It's
yeah.
part of what makes us unique and beautiful.
So even though the pain of this breakup is real and raw for him right now,
Yeah.
there's this sense of hope in these comments.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this sucks, but you're going to get through it. And you might even come out stronger on the other side.
It's a powerful message and one that's worth repeating,
Yeah.
You are stronger than you think.
Yeah.
You will heal.
Speaking of healing, I'm curious to hear what the commenters have to say about the actual process of getting over someone.
Sure.
Like, what practical tips or insights did they offer?
Well, one suggestion that really stood out to me was this idea of creating a self-soothing kit.
A self-soothing kit.
Yes.
Okay, what's that?
It's basically a collection of items that bring comfort and joy.
Oh, I love that. Like a first aid kit for your heart.
Exactly. And it could include anything,
Yeah.
From a favorite book
Yeah.
to a scented candle
Yeah.
to a playlist of uplifting music.
Yeah.
It's about being proactive in taking care of your emotional well-being.
Yeah. It's like having a toolbox of little rituals and comforts that you can turn to when you're feeling down.
Exactly.
It's like having little tools, to combat those breakup blues.
Yeah, exactly. It's about, recognizing that emotional healing is a process. Right.
And there are going to be ups and downs along the way.
Of course.
Some days you're going to feel strong and optimistic, and other days you're going to feel like you're right back where you started.
Right.
And that's okay.
That's okay. Yeah, it's not a linear journey.
No.
There's no set timeline
Right.
for getting over somebody, and I think the commenters recognize that too.
Yeah, absolutely. There were a lot of comments about, emphasizing the importance of patience and self-compassion.
Yeah.
One person even compared it to like recovering from a physical injury.
Okay.
If you had a broken bone,
Right.
you wouldn't expect it to heal overnight.
Right.
So why would you expect your broken heart to?
That's such a good point. We need to give ourselves the time and space to grieve
Yeah.
and let those wounds heal.
And just like we would seek medical attention for a physical injury,
Yeah.
it's also important to reach out for support when we're struggling emotionally.
Yeah. Whether it's talking to a therapist or confiding in a trusted friend or even joining a support group,
Yeah.
there's no shame in asking for help.
Yeah.
In fact, it's actually a sign of strength
Totally.
and self-awareness.
And speaking of strength, I was really struck by just the overall sense of hope and encouragement
Oh, yeah.
in this whole thread.
Yeah.
Yes, they're acknowledging the pain and the difficulty
Uh-huh.
of heartbreak, but there's also this strong belief that he will come out of it stronger and better than before.
It's a reminder that even in those darkest of times, there's always a glimmer of light,
Right.
a possibility for renewal and transformation.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes, going through a really difficult experience like a breakup
Yeah.
to really push us towards that growth.
One commenter said, breakups are like forced personal growth workshops.
Okay.
They're not fun,
Okay.
but they can teach you a lot about yourself if you're open to learning.
I love that it's about, shifting from that victim mentality to one of empowerment. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? Ask, what can I learn from this?
What can I learn? Yeah.
Yeah.
What are my patterns in my relationship?
Yes, what are your needs?
Yeah.
What are your boundaries? How can I communicate more effectively?
Yeah. All really good questions to reflect on, even if you're not going through a breakup.
Exactly, because ultimately the goal is to learn and grow from these experiences.
Yeah.
So we can create healthier and more fulfilling relationships in the future.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive into this whole Reddit wisdom on breakups,
Yeah,
the key takeaway is this heartbreak is a universal experience.
it is.
It's messy, it's painful, it takes time to heal,
Yes.
but it's also an opportunity for profound growth
Yes.
and self-discovery.
And remember, you're not alone on this journey.
Right.
There are countless others who have walked this path before you,
Yeah,
and they've emerged stronger, wiser, and more resilient.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
hey, if you're feeling inspired to continue exploring these themes, be sure to check out Shauna Pelage's YouTube channel.
Yes.
She offers so many resources on personal growth and spirituality
Absolutely.
and navigating life's challenges.
That's right.
And don't forget to subscribe to Voices of the Soul
Yes.
for more deep dives into the human experience.
We love to do.
We're here to guide you through life's ups and downs, one insightful conversation at a time.
That's right.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.